What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another tropical update here by Asian Weather Forecast. Let me just put this an easy way. We have major updates, and we can possibly have the start of the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. The season that we expect is major hyperactive season. We expect that this 2020 is finally starting. We have multiple opportunities for storms to develop. We might even have Faye by the next 36 hours. We also have Invest 98L that could possibly become something. And we still have Edouard there in the northern Atlantic. We also have this incoming MJO and very warm SSTs bringing in very extremely favorable conditions for tropics. Extremely favorable. Very little wind shear and extreme MJO coming. We actually might have a ton of storms in just July. Let me just tell you that we are expecting a huge peak in the tropics, and it could very well be. This could be the start of this huge hyperactive season. Let me tell you this. Major updates could possibly have a huge threat for the Caribbean within the next 36 hours for possibly Faye. Even Florida, you guys could be at a risk for possibly something within the next week. But obviously, I'm going to be talking about that in the video. Obviously, not going to be biased about anything. But before we get in the video, please hit that post notification icon so you get notified as soon as I post a video. Smash that subscribe button as well so you get notified, and also so you show your awesome support and get all of my uploads, and also smash that like button so I know you love these type of videos. But also, we have the Discord. The Discord link is now in the description below. We are not doing interviews as of now. So actually check out the Discord now. Go in the link and you just gotta do the little rules and all that, and then you're in the amazing Discord. So hope you guys do enjoy that. It is in the link below. I might pin it in the comments as well, but check that out. We got all the social media down there. But now let's get into this very exciting tropical update. So here's the National Hurricane Center here in the next the 5-day tropical weather outlook. Here, we're going to start off with Edouard. Here we have Edouard right here. It is moving extremely fast. Look at this, 45 miles an hour. This thing has really strengthened a lot, and it looks beautiful on satellite imagery. It's at 1,007 millibars, so quite a decent strong system there. We are seeing a decently strong storm and low pressure system, and this thing is moving northeast at 37 miles an hour. Absolutely crazy. 37 miles an hour. That is due to the strong jet stream, which is pushing Edouard extremely fast. Once storms get up that far up in the northern Atlantic, they zoom. Let me tell you, the tropics from Edouard is zooming. It could possibly have a race all the way to the UK. So we are having a very interesting race up there in the northern Atlantic. We're having competition between these storms. Competition right here is where we can have Faye. I know you're saying it's at a 10% chance, but I'm going to show you throughout the whole video why this could be Faye. The National Hurricane Center is deeply sleeping on this, and I'm going to show you why. It may sound like I'm overhyping, but let me tell you. We have a race to the letter F. Here, we have 98L. This system won't get back in the ocean for the next 2 to 3 days, but this system is brewing, and I'm going to show you all the evidence that I have. Me and Tony H, she is a very loyal YouTube supporter. You're probably gonna see in the comments below. Me and him have very high confidence in this being the letter F by the next 36 to 40 hours, and you're gonna see why. So he's had a 10% chance now, but I'm gonna show you all the everything, how favorable the conditions are, and all of that later in the video. But now let's take a quick look on Edouard. But before we take a look at Edouard and satellite imagery, we're going to be talking about the SSTs. This is going to be all including Edouard, including Invest 98L, and possibly soon to be Tropical Depression 6. Possibly by the next couple of updates. Look at these conditions here. Very favorable conditions for Edouard as it is heading to 26 degrees Celsius. So obviously Edouard is going to start falling apart. That's not the issue. It's going to be going all the way up there. But we're not going to be worrying about that. Look at the ocean temperature. So here we have Invest 98L. The threat for Invest 98L right here. Invest 98L is expected to possibly come out of the Carolinas and go up the coast like this. This could be very well be a low-end tropical storm or tropical depression when it comes back out within the next 60 hours. Everybody's been focusing on that storm to be Faye. Everybody's been focusing on Invest 98L to be Faye. But it's inland now. This low pressure is inland. It's a very nice closed low pressure system with high amounts of cloud cover, but it's going through Georgia, South Carolina, and maybe North Carolina. But the jet stream actually might push it out into the sea sooner. But I'm gonna show you that. But I think whether the jet stream pushes Invest on the AL into the ocean sooner, so maybe comes out near Hilton Head or Savannah, I think the system right here is going to develop way faster than what Invest on the AL. This has a huge potential right here, sitting at 28 degrees Celsius. It could possibly move like this. I think that could be the track for this. I'm taking a look at that. I'm taking a look at the satellite imagery. I'm taking a look at the moisture. I'm taking a look at all of that to see where this potential system can go. But we're having very favorable conditions in the system. And if it does have to head towards the Caribbean, look at these temperatures. 29 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius, 31 degrees Celsius, and possibly 32 degrees Celsius off the western coast there of Florida, and also the northern Bahama Island, the Big Island. Extremely favorable conditions for this. We're going to have an MJO right here in the tropical Atlantic, and look how favorable these conditions are for low pressure systems to develop all across this whole line of tropics. And then those systems can go all the way out like this, and that's going to cause very big, extremely big issues. Now let's go and check out the Edouard on the satellite imagery. So here's Edouard on satellite imagery. As you see, it's kind of falling apart. As you see, you can just tell like that on the IR right here. As you can tell, this is kind of falling apart, but wow, this system's still pretty organized. Let me tell you that, very, very organized. You can just tell high amount of water vapor. Let's go and check out the visible satellite imagery here. You can actually see the cloud cover. Let's see the visible. Let's check that out there. As you see, the system's very organized. Let's actually see if it actually loads up. Actually, there we go. But we're gonna kind of see the system right there. As you see, actually, I don't want to get a PowerPoint out. Oops, I accidentally got a PowerPoint out, but my mistake. But here's Edouard right here. As you see, look at this system, very, very organized. A lot of cloud cover, some convection coming in at this point right here. But really, it's dying out. It really is. It's going to cooler waters. This jet stream is really pushing it out really fast. It's a very fast-moving storm, moving almost 40 miles an hour to the northeast. This system's really going to be dying out really fast at this point. We've got the jet stream pushing this out. Got a little convection at this point, but it's really enclosed at this point. It's not really, you don't have any eye wall. You don't have any eye. It's really kind of falling apart at this point. So this is where the days of Edouard kind of fall apart at this point. The days of Edouard are over, but we're still going to be taking a look at the intensity guidance here to see, could it strengthen a little bit before, and also we're going to be taking a look at when this could become post-tropical. So here's a look at the tropical storm Edouard model intensity guidance, and it's quite interesting actually. As you see, the majority of the models do show it weakening, but actually staying at tropical storm force winds all the way to the next 96 hours. That's very interesting. Here's the tropical storm and tropical depression borderline right here. As you see, this is the borderline. It's a 50%. Actually, I think 60% staying at a tropical storm force winds, and then 40 so going down. That's very, very interesting here. They go possibly to a borderline tropical storm, then they strengthen back again before it affects the UK. This will actually make landfall in the UK actually. So not many systems make landfall in the UK, but it actually will, if not go around the UK. But this thing could very well stay at a tropical storm for a while here. So, but it's really it's a close call whether it's going to go back to a depression then become post-tropical. But the cone does show it becoming post-tropical by the next coming days. But very, very interesting and intriguing what we're going to be seeing with Edouard. Whether it's it's going to be living a lot longer, or whether it's going to fall apart. But either way, this system's not anything to worry about. Not much to really talk about other than that. That's why we're briefly talking about Edouard. But now we're going to be also talking about Invest 90AL. So let's go and check out about Invest 90AL. So here it is right here. Here is Invest 90AL, the low pressure system right here. This tiny low pressure system in southwestern Georgia. Now you can see the dead center of the system right here. Very dense cloud cover. This is kind of the whole thing at this point. This is all of Invest 90AL at this point. And it is going to bring in a lot of thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms for all these areas throughout today, really. But very interesting. Invest on the AL is going to be kind of going through this whole area at this point. All that. So that's exactly why I have faith. I do think Invest 90AL could possibly become tropical. I just think that disturbed storm in the Caribbean will beat it to becoming Faye. You know why? Favorable conditions are way favorable. Faye, that potential system that disturbs thunderstorms that the National Hurricane Center has not highlighted, it's at a 10% chance that storm there. I think that it could be a tropical depression as of now. I think that is a tropical depression right now. I know you guys are probably, it's only a 10% chance. What are you talking about, Adrian? The National Hurricane Center is sleeping on it, and many people agree. A lot of people who know the tropics here, I have a group chat, they all agree. Tony agrees. A lot of people agree with me. And the National Hurricane Center has a pattern to sleep on a couple storms, and this could be it. And I'm going to show you after I talk about 98L, you're going to see what I'm talking about. But 98L is going to be going through a lot of land at this point. It still has very little shear in this area, but it's over land. It can't gain its energy without the ocean. That's its food. That is its source. It's going to be, yes, it's not dying, but it is dying. No, it's not going to die, but it is going to die slowly. That's what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. It's kind of having an empty jar of food. You have it, like your ocean is your kitchen. That's where you get your food. But if you're not in your kitchen, obviously you can't get the food unless you walk there. So that means AL has to travel back into the ocean. And models show it going all the way near Lake Lanier, going through like this. If it goes out sooner, that means it can strengthen a lot more. That will be the fight to the letter F. But if it goes out like that, what is expected to come out near North Carolina, this new disturbed weather in the Caribbean will beat it. It's a race to the letter F. That's exactly what it is. It's a really close call, but I think this storm in the Caribbean is really going to beat it because it's not over land. It's having very little shear. It's got a lot of moisture behind it and around it. It's got an enclosed low pressure system. It's got a lot of water vapor. It's got a lot of vorticity. It's way more favorable. But here's Invest 98L moving to Georgia. Now let's go and check out the track guidance and the model and also the strength guidance. So here is the Invest 98L model track guidance. Here it is right here, that point. As you see, model showing going all the way as far north as Lake Lanier or Macon. Look how much it has left to go in the area of land. It's got Georgia, it's got South Carolina, even Florida, or not Florida, North Carolina. As you see, though, it's got a lot of ocean after this, all the way from North Carolina to Nova Scotia. It's got all of that to become something. But it will have to become named before it crosses Connecticut and Long Island. I'm telling you, it would have to be named right here where we have it to 28 degrees Celsius. Because here, we have the teens and very low 20s in Celsius. It will not live to tell the story here. It would have to develop right here. It'll have to. It can't. It will not be named. It will not be named here. It won't. If it's not named before Long Island, it won't be named. So, the only thing is the jet stream, which I'll talk about later in the video. I'll show that later in the video. The jet stream is going to push this thing out, though. It is. We have a very strong jet stream. That's the thing. If that jet stream does strengthen a lot more and gets here sooner, it could push this to go out like this. If it goes out like this, or this, it's definitely going to be named. It definitely will be named. But obviously, it's the track guidance doesn't show that. But obviously, it has possibly up to 3 days to change. As you see, it's going to be out here in the next 72 hours. It has 3 days to change. Even if it's right here. Even if it's right here, it can still change and go like that. Which is perfect for it to be named. So that means we might not only have Faye, but we can have another named storm. So that is the track guidance. So go ahead and check out the intensity guidance here. As you see, it's not looking like it's going to be named until it comes back out. And that's between the next 144 to 156 hours. One model shows it coming out in the next 50 hours or 55 hours. And at that point, it's still possibly inland, which possibly won't even happen. It won't be named. It won't strengthen if it's inland. It won't. I'm sorry, it won't. It really won't. So at this point, it's a very iffy possibility if Invest 98L is named or if it's tropical. It could very well become Tropical Depression 7 because that storm in the Caribbean will beat it. And I think that storm in the Caribbean is a Tropical Depression right now. Now that I've been talking about that storm the whole time, let me show you what I mean. This could potentially be Faye within the next 36 hours. So basically, it's kind of iffy possibility here. It really is. But let's go check out that new storm. Now look at this. Look at this. Look at that. You're telling me this is not a tropical depression. You're telling me this is not a tropical depression. Not even an invest. Are you serious, National Hurricane Center? Are you serious? At this point, they haven't even made an invest. At that point, look at this storm. It has a circular area, has a ton of water vapor. It's perfect. This storm is perfect. We have not had a storm in this area in a while, and it is taking all that water, and it is feeding and feeding and feeding. You are telling me that is not tropical. You are telling me that. Let's go and check out the visible satellite imagery, and it'll make it better. Let's go ahead and wait for that to load here on that satellite imagery. There it is. Look at that storm. Look at that storm. You are telling me that is not tropical? You are telling me that is not tropical. Look at the dense cloud cover. Even if it's not a tropical storm, I don't think it's a tropical storm at this point. I think it's a depression. I think this is a tropical depression. Look at that. Look at that at this point. That is absolutely crazy. This has to be a depression. It has to be. The winds on this, I'm telling you, if recon goes on this at this point, I'm telling you, they're going to be seeing some nice winds. We need recon on this at this point. We really need recon on this. We do. I'm telling you, we are going to see something at this point. We are going to see Faye in the next 36 hours, or we possibly will see Faye in the next 36 to 40 hours. This thing has, I have very high confidence in this. Look at this, look at that storm. And let me go and show you, not only am I looking at satellite imagery, let me show you everything else. Here's moisture. Here's the moisture. You're probably thinking, oh, there's dry air. Well, this is where it is. It's right here. We have dry air, but this low pressure will be following this moisture. Here it is. It's going to be following with all this moisture. No dry air in this whole area. It's going to be right here, this low pressure system. All this low pressure system is going to follow, just like this little fish that follows a shark when it swims to clean off its skin. This is exactly what it's going to do. It's exactly what it's going to do here. Following this moisture all the way to the Caribbean and Bahamas. I'm not saying the storm's going to be going there, or it could. If this storm's going to be following the moisture, look at the moisture leading it. The Bahamas, Cuba, and you called it Florida. Southern Florida. This storm will be most likely following this moisture. I'm not saying it's going to hit Florida. That's way too far out to say. So don't say I'm saying it's going to hit Florida. I'm saying look where the moisture is leading it, to Florida. Here it is. Right there. It's going to follow. It's going to follow. It's going to follow this. Oops, I did not mean to do that. It's going to follow. It's going to follow all this moisture at this point. Most likely going to follow that moisture. And look where it's leading it. Look where it's leading it. All the way there. I'm not saying it's going to hit Florida. I'm just looking. This low pressure is going to follow the moisture. And the moisture is leading it over there. Let's go also check out the wind shear here. You're probably thinking, oh, there's probably a ton of wind shear. Not a single little wind at all. This system has an area where it's less than 10 knots in the higher atmosphere. Less than 10 knots. Here it is. It's going to be following this whole area. There could be a little rough area with less than 30 knots there. That's it. That's it. And look at this. No wind shear to be seen in the area where it could very well make landfall. I am not listening to the National Hurricane Center. I'm not listening to that 10% chance. This system could very well be a depression right now as we speak. It's favorable. It shows it on satellite imagery. Let's go and take a look at the future satellite imagery there. Look at all that. That's where the system is. Look at that beautiful storm. You're telling me this is not tropical. You're telling me that? There it is. Massive storm. As you see, kind of falls apart a little bit. And then it pops up. Look at that little storm right there. Obviously, it's in the future. So look at that. Look at that storm right there. Right over DR. Look at that storm. Look at that. Let's go and check out, see if it actually goes all the way to the area of Florida. Look at that. You are telling me that is not something to worry about? And that's going to be following the Bahama area. And then it could very well be going over the Bahamas. But obviously it's too far out to say anything. Wow. That is a lot to take in, isn't it? A lot to take in. Edouard, 98L, and possibly Tropical Depression 6 as we speak. A lot to take in. A lot to think about. It may seem like I'm overhyping this storm. I can see where you guys are coming from. But this storm has a lot of potential. It really does. It is scary to think about the SSTs that are in the track of the storm. It is scary to think about the amount of little shear. There's very limited shear in this whole atmosphere. The amount of moisture as well and around this low pressure is scary to think about. Everything's set in place. We have an MJO from the western coast of Africa all the way to where this thing is, near the Lesser Antilles. I really do think this could be something. I think we could very well have some potential advisories for the Lesser Antilles. But obviously, I'm not the National Hurricane Center. And obviously, you guys don't have to listen to me. But I don't really get this about this way about storms. But when I do, I really mean it. I really mean it. So please watch out. If you're in the Caribbean, maybe even the Bahamas, or maybe even Florida, just watch out. And yeah. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, though. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I had a lot to talk about, really. And I'm definitely going to be having a lot more discussions on this. So expect a lot more tropical updates. I'm not worried about severe weather right now. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm not worried about seasonal forecast. I am worried about the tropics right now. I really am. You guys know I've been saying since March we're going to be seeing a very active Caribbean. This could be the first Caribbean storm that we see this year. We had Arthur, Bertha, Carolinas, Cristobal, Louisiana, Dolly, nothing. Edward, nothing. Now, it's about time we have something in the tropics, in the Caribbean. And this could be our first real storm. And when I mean that, I mean real extreme tropical storm. If not, I don't want to say it's too far out, but possibly, it could very well possibly be a hurricane. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying it's going to be a hurricane. I said it could. It could. So don't, mark my word and say, oh, you said it was going to be a hurricane, but it wasn't anything. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please watch out for this, and I will keep you guys updated. Bye, guys.